It's 2 a.m. You said one sentence in a meeting 6 hours ago, and you're still replaying it. Did that sound weird? Did they notice? Should you have said it differently? Meanwhile, the person you said it to has already forgotten the conversation ever happened. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken and you're not too sensitive. You have an overthinking brain, and there is a very specific psychology behind why it works this way. In this video, we're going to go deep into what's actually happening inside the mind of someone who overthinks everything. Where it comes from, what it's secretly trying to protect you from, why it almost never works the way it promises to, and, by the end, exactly how to start loosening its grip. Let's begin. What overthinking actually is. Let's start by naming the thing correctly, because overthinking isn't really about thinking too much. It's about thinking in a loop that doesn't go anywhere. Psychologists often describe this pattern using two related terms, rumination and worry. Rumination is dwelling on the past, replaying a conversation, an embarrassing moment, a decision you already made, over and over, looking for something you missed. Worry is its twin, but future-facing, running simulations of everything that could go wrong before it's happened, trying to prepare for every possible outcome in advance. Both feel like problem-solving. Researchers who study rumination, notably psychologist Susan Nolan-Huxema, who did some of the foundational work in this area, found that people who ruminate heavily don't actually generate better solutions to their problems. So, if overthinking doesn't solve anything, why does the brain keep doing it? That's where it gets interesting. The hidden job overthinking is trying to do. Here's the part most people miss. Overthinking isn't a malfunction. From your brain's point of view, it's a strategy. 1. It's trying to create a sense of control. Uncertainty is deeply uncomfortable for the human brain. 2. It's trying to prevent future pain. If you can anticipate every way a situation might go wrong, some part of your brain believes you'll be safer, emotionally braced, prepared, protected from being caught off guard. 3. It's trying to avoid social or relational risk. A huge portion of overthinking is relational, replaying what you said, analyzing someone else's tone, wondering if you upset them. 4. It's trying to prevent regret. Overthinkers often hold an unconscious belief that if they consider every angle thoroughly enough, they'll avoid ever making the wrong choice. So overthinking isn't random noise. Why the strategy backfires? If overthinking is trying to protect you, why does it usually leave you feeling worse? 1. It mistakes motion for progress. Thinking about a problem feels like doing something about it. 2. It amplifies emotional intensity rather than resolving it. Each time you replay a stressful moment, you're not just remembering it, you're re-experiencing a version of the emotional charge that came with it. 3. It creates a feedback loop with anxiety. Overthinking and anxiety feed each other in a closed circuit. 4. It borrows against your present to protect your future. While you're mentally rehearsing a conversation that already happened, or simulating one that hasn't happened yet, you are, by definition, not present for the one actually happening around you right now. 5. It quietly reinforces a negative self-concept. Chronic overthinking is disproportionately populated by self-critical content. Why did I say that? What's wrong with me? I always do this. Who tends to overthink, and why? Overthinking isn't evenly distributed. High conscientiousness and perfectionism. High sensitivity to social feedback. A history where vigilance was actually necessary. high intelligence, and imagination. None of these traits are flaws. How to actually interrupt the loop. Understanding the psychology is useful, but let's get practical. 1. Set a decision deadline. Give yourself a fixed window to think something through. 15 minutes, one evening, whatever fits the size of the decision, and commit in advance to deciding by the end of it. 2. Separate productive thinking from rumination. Ask yourself one question. Is this thought leading me toward an action, or just going in circles? 3. Externalize the thought. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Literally write down what you're worried about. 4. Use the "Will this matter" test. Ask, will this matter in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? 5. Address the underlying need directly. Since overthinking is usually trying to solve for control, safety, or certainty, ask what would actually meet that need. 6. Build tolerance for uncertainty on purpose. This is the deeper, longer-term work. 7. Give the pattern a name and notice it earlier. Many people who work with a therapist on this find it useful to give the pattern a nickname, something like the loop or the replay. None of these fully cures overthinking overnight. For some people, especially those whose overthinking is tangled up with anxiety or past experiences, working with a therapist can help address the deeper roots more directly. If you overthink everything, it doesn't mean you're anxious for no reason, or broken, or too much. The problem was never that you think deeply. You don't need to think about everything less. You need your mind to trust, a little more, that it's allowed to stop. If this gave you some language for something you felt for a long time, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And I'll see you in the next one.